Hello everybody, my name is GamoUsa here with AirgunWeb, where we tell you the facts, not fluff. We have got some great unboxings to start the year. I've got 3 new guns from Gamo. Now, Airgun Angie already beat me to these, so if you've already seen those over on the GTA website, hopefully you'll learn something new here today with me. But this is a pretty cool, exciting airgun. Been waiting to see this come here to the US. These, first of all, just so you guys know, if you guys are interested, you're going to need to look them up. These were sent to us by GamoUsa. So these are going to be available on their website, and they're exclusive to their website. So just realize that what you see here today, you're going to have to go to them directly to get it, which is awesome that they're even bringing some of these cool European models in. What do we have here? This is the Gamo Hunter Extreme Ultimate. So we're talking about a break barrel, single shot break barrel, but it's in 25 caliber. This is their most powerful power plant, matched with a beautiful wood stock, and then released in 25 caliber. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. Really quickly, let's talk about some of the features. This is going to be full out for hunting guys. It's a single shot break barrel. It does use their Mach 1 gas ram, so inert gas ram. It has a 33 millimeter cylinder. I'm going to check that. I think this has the larger cylinder. I have to check that. If that's so, that's why we're getting the crazy good power out of this thing. I'll have to check that. I'm not sure if it's the standard or the little bit larger one. We'll see. Hopefully I can just tell. It's got the CAT trigger. We'll talk a little bit about that. So it's somewhat adjustable. You can adjust out some of that first stage, but the second stage is really fixed. Let's see, it's got a wood stock, it's gorgeous wood stock. Manual safety, it's got an 11 millimeter rail. It has a recoil reducing rail that helps with some of the, well, it's supposed to help preserve your scope. Let's see, the barrel is your standard barrel. Let's see, it's got the recoil pad, 5-year warranty, that's awesome. And it's 25 caliber, cocking force is 41 pounds. Okay, I have no way to measure or test that, so we're going to go with okay. All right, so here we are. Now this comes as a shooting kit, so you're going to get targets. You're going to get, you're going to get some targets. You're going to get some pellets. You're going to get a gun sock. I guess that's the word I was looking for. You get their scope, which is a 3 to 9 by 40. Maybe we'll mount that today since we're here and it's here. We've got 2 tins of pellets. Those pellets are good to get you started. When we go down and actually do shooting at the range, we'll see how accurate they are. We'll also check out some other 25 cal pellets too. Yeah, let's go ahead and pull this out of the box. We have our manual, our paperwork, our little. I'm the guy who worked on this gun. A little tag. Let's see, and this is, I'm not sure what that is. It looks like an Allen key. Okay, let's go ahead and close this up here. All right. Okay. All right, so this doesn't have the whisper or anything like that on it. It's just a straight steel barrel. And for those that are wondering, yes, it's a steel breech, steel barrel, steel action. This is all wood and steel, guys. So absolutely gorgeous stock and rifle. That is a good size cylinder. I want to put this away. We don't need that anymore. Let's get it up here on the stand. We'll take a look at it. Okay. All right, so they're saying 1,000 foot per second with alloy pellets. I'm going to try and go through and see if I have some PPA alloy in 25. I know I have 17722. Don't know if I have 25 to test, but we'll see. We'll see if they'll see if it'll hit that. Now my altitude here is 4,600 feet, so that does limit our max velocity. Be different. Angie down there at sea level will be able to do better on the velocity side of things. I'm going to grab a rag so we can wipe this down. Yeah, this is a gorgeous gun. It has the open sights. It has a great stock which lends itself to the open sight, so they line up well. Okay, it's a little sticky from the oil that was in shipping. I'm having worked with this a little bit down at Angie's and talked with Gamo a little bit, and actually shot this when we did the iguana hunt down with Gamo. This is one of those guns that I'll probably pull the trigger a couple times, and then I'll go ahead and clean the barrel. Because for whatever reason, when they ship these guns, they have a little gunk in there. So we're gonna go ahead, knowing that up front, we'll go ahead and clean the barrel on these. But we'll do just a couple quick shots just for giggles before we do that. So I'm looking at some of the key features here. It's robust, guys. Well, you just take a look at this stock. Just absolutely gorgeous stock. Again, wood and steel. And let me see how it feels here. Oh yeah, that's just, it's gonna give you a little bit of a workout. That'll be fun. For accessories, we have 50 targets. So we got some paper targets. And then again, this is a gun sock, which is pretty cool. Let's see, is it? It's just a polyester shell, so it keeps, it's water resistant. Just keeps your gun protected. So that's kind of nice. They give you that. Should we go ahead and mount the scope? I mean, we're here, might as well do it. Okay, so it's got your standard 3 to 9 by 40. Okay. Let's see. This is going to take the. Yep. May go get my toolkit with all my bits on it. Okay, so if you're an enthusiast, you already know how all this works. If you're new to air gunning, I'll walk you through the basics. I've done this a lot, and so I tend to just eyeball it. But if you want to get really exact, there's some things you can do with plumb lines, and there's even some stuff from Real Avid, some mechanical devices that'll help you get your scope absolutely perfectly centered. You can do that if you want. As I said, I've done this a lot, and so I'm pretty confident that when I mount it, I can get it pretty straight. I'll tell you some of the tricks that I use to try and get very, very close. But if you want to be like dead on, spot on, there's some mechanical things you can do to ensure that. If you guys want to see that, maybe kind of go through a more advanced scope mounting so that you're getting the absolute straightest you possibly can, let me know. I can do a video like that if that's something you guys want to do. It has limited usefulness, frankly. I know there are people who argue that. But if I was shooting like a long range at various ranges, like past 100 yards or whatnot, or even 50 to 100 yards really can be really critical. That's one thing. But really, these guns, even though they are powerful, even though they are, well, you have high caliber and high power, they're 35 to 45 yard guns. You're not really probably going to stretch this to 100 yards. You can, and I know some people that will have some success out there. But for me, break barrels are more close range. They're really ideal for that. Okay, so what I've done so far is I've just put the scope on here, and I probably should have showed you this because it's important. Let me take this off real quick. So first of all, this uses a torque bit. It comes with a little, a little Allen wrench, torque, whatever, that'll let you do it, but I use tools. There's a little pin here, and this little pin's called a stop pin, and it goes in a hole right here. Now, the reason you do that, and I'm gonna see if you can see me line it up. You can probably see it on the GoPro there. There's your hole, there's our pin. I'm gonna line this up. The reason you do that is the scope will want to, if it didn't have that pin, actually slide right off the back of the gun no matter how hard you crank the scope mounts. The reason for that is the way break barrels work. Again, we've talked about this a ton on the channel. If you're new, this will be interesting. If you've seen it, forgive me, but I'm trying to make sure everybody understands and gets educated on this. It's a big heavy piston in here, right? There's a gas ram, there's a piston, there's a seal. The way this works is when you cock that barrel, it pushes that piston back, latches on the sear. It's heavy. It's a big steel piston. When you pull the trigger, releases the sear. The gas ram throws that forward and it slams into the front of this compression chamber. That's where you get your power, right? So this fills up with ambient air. That's why at this elevation, the air is a little thinner. It's like having less powder in your charge, okay? So that gets filled up with whatever you got, and then when you pull that trigger, it slams forward really fast, and that's what drives your pellet down the bore. So when that thing hits the front of this compression chamber, it will cause the gun to lurch forward, and it will make the scope want to fall off backwards. It's why you got to have that stop pin, and it's also why if your scope's not set up specifically for that kind of recoil, your scope will get trashed. You can have a really expensive, really nice scope, but if it's not designed for that reverse recoil, it'll trash your scope. This scope from Gamo, it's their standard 3-9 by 40. Boy, they have a lot of these scopes out there. I find it just fine. There are going to be people that argue that point, want to like say the scope's trash and all that stuff. You got to work within the limitations of the scope, and I'll tell you what that is just briefly. It has a non-adjustable parallax. So what that means is, maybe you have experience with this. It's a 3-9. So if I'm shooting like across the room, I've got, I don't know, maybe that's 20 feet over there. If I try and zoom into 9 power, everything will be out of focus. It will not work, and I have no way to focus that. If I'm at 30, say 30 yards, or 25, say 25 yards or 30 yards, say 90 feet, then I can use the full range of magnification and everything's in focus. That's because the parallax of the scope has a minimum distance. So everything beyond, say, 25, 30 yards, you can use your full range of magnification. If you are inside that, you're going to be limited in your magnification. Now that's the limitation of this scope. Additionally, the scope is just a duplex reticle. So you have a crosshair that's thin and then a thick part. So you have no way of sort of adjusting holdover or hold under or windage or elevation with the reticle. Like if you heard of mil dot scopes, they have little dots. They allow you to use those dots to adjust based on distance and range and stuff. Well, this is fixed. So you have a duplex reticle, a non-adjustable parallax. So those are the limitations. However, the scopes seem to hold up. They've held up well for me. So as long as I work within the limitations of the scope, I've had great success with this. And you can talk to the folks we just went iguana hunting with, talk to Harold down there. He doesn't run any fancy optics. He runs standard scope, and he's crushing iguanas all day long. So the scopes actually are good if you work within the limitations. You can always upgrade the scope. Just if you do, make sure you get an Airgun rated scope, and maybe that'll be a video for another day as well. Anyway, so I've attached the main rail here, or the scope, to this recoil reducing rail. This is that recoil reducing rail talked about in the specs, and that helps the scope endure the recoil. That's what that does. If you don't want to run the scope, you have some great open sights too, so just keep that in mind. With my eyesight, I'm going to run the scope. Most people are going to run a scope. Now I've mounted that. Let's see if it's straight. Sometimes they come out okay. Sometimes we got to adjust them. And reality is on this, it's actually pretty doggone straight. Now it's a little far forward for me. I would move it back so I don't have to crane my neck forward quite so hard. And at 3 power, I do see the globe a little bit. So as I zoom in beyond that, your focal point will be beyond this and you won't see it, but at 3 power you do see the globe. But it's actually pretty straight. I'm going to leave it like that. If I wanted to adjust this back further, give me a little better eye relief, which I'll probably do when I get down the range and actually sight it in, you'd loosen up your top rings and just slide it back, and then you'd have to recenter it and go through it. But we'll do that when we go to the range and we take some of our first shots. But guys, this has been a quick unboxing of this Gamo. It's the Hunter Extreme Ultimate in 25 caliber. I cannot wait to get this down there and do some shooting. This is, I think, it may be like the most powerful gun they're making right now, especially when you add in the 25 cal option. I've heard some people, I've seen some people comment about, boy, I wish they did the swarm on this. I don't know. There's something about just the single shot aspect of this, the old traditional style and old traditional build that I really like personally. I cut my teeth on guns like this. So I'm excited to get this down and do some shooting. For now, that's gonna be it though, guys. We will do more with this later for sure. We're gonna get this down to the range and put it through the paces and see what works best. And then Yeah, maybe we'll be able to take this out and do a little small game hunting around the ranch. That might be fun. All right, guys, that's going to be it. My name's GamoUsa here with AirgunWeb, where we tell you the facts, not fluff. And remember, if you guys want to help us out, check out our Patreon page or also the Officers Club over at AirgunArmy.com. Links will be in the video description. And again, I want to say thank you to GamoUsa for setting this out and hooking us up with this great gear. We have some more Gamo stuff coming up that we'll be unboxing, so stay tuned to the channel. And again, thanks for watching.